Hi folks, so I'm going to do my best to try not to swear during this video. So somebody I know who doesn't stay locally to me was looking for help with their dog, and they said that they were going to send them to a boarding train. So boarding train, for those of you that don't know what that term is where you send your dog away to a training kennel for a week or 2 weeks, and they train your dog, and then the dog comes back. Now there are very few places where I think that's a good model. I've got a friend in the West Coast in the US, and she does it really well. She takes puppies on board and socialises them, does lots of basic training, and then shows the client what to do when they do their handover. And Colleen's excellent at what she does. So if you train positively when you do this, and you train carefully, then there can be benefits to it, especially if the clients don't have time to train their dog on their own. However, that aside, most training, okay, our dogs aren't robots. It's not a matter of pre-programming them to do certain behaviours and then they perform them at all times. The relationship between us and our dog is massively important. So there's people. Think of the relationships in your life, okay? The people that you like, know and trust, well, you'll have a deeper relationship. Your behaviour will be different with them than somebody in the street, okay? A boss that you like, know and trust and who treats you well will get a better performance from you than somebody that is a job's worth and micromanages you, all right? So the relationship between you and your dog is very similar to that, okay? So we're wanting to invest in training rather than just you do this and now you do this elsewhere, okay? So it's not quite as simple as that. So this person had contacted me and they'd said to me that they were looking at this facility, and when I looked at the person, this training kennel's website, first thing that happened was they had a German Shepherd on the website and the dog was wearing a choke chain or a slip lead, and I said no, that's not a good place to go, okay? But they had contacted them and the kennel had assured them that they trained positively, all right? So they said it was all positive training, and the kennel then sent a video of the training which was being done, and the person who owned the dog was really upset, and rightly so. So there's a couple of things there which I take massive issue with. Okay, one, they're representing themselves as being positive training because they know the marketing implications of that. Trainers that use balanced training methods or call themselves balanced trainers, and you can hear the contempt that I have in my voice for that term. They say balanced because it sounds like a nice word to the uneducated public, okay, rather than saying we hurt your dog when we need to and we give them treats when we need to, okay, because that's the reality of it. We use threat, intimidation and violence to train your dog when we need to, and sometimes we'll give the dog a treat or a ball or a play or tug or petting, okay. And I've talked before, you can look back through the videos on this page. I've talked before about what balanced training is and what it isn't, okay? So there was 3 dogs in the training session, 3 big dogs, so you know the big breeds, the retriever sized dog or bigger. Young dogs being marched up and down by 3 handlers on either choke chains or slip leads, and the dogs were the video lasted for about 3 minutes, and there was dozens and dozens and dozens of corrections, okay, of the dog being pulled violently on the collar and told to heel, okay, then told to sit, and when they didn't sit, pulled up on the training collar, okay, so it gets pulled up and the butt gets pushed down, and the dog started resisting that, okay, and when they started resisting it, guess what happened? More violence and more force, okay. Now, one of the dogs wasn't coping at all during this. They're supposed to be training heel work or loose lead walking, which is or not engaging with other dogs, from the shambles that this training session was. And one of the dogs wasn't coping very well and started bucking, okay, so starts pulling away. And guess what happened when the dog started pulling away? More violence, okay, more violence towards that dog, okay. Now, And the person was rightly upset. One, because she's been lied to by this shambles of an organisation or a business who have told her it's positive training, and then it's not positive training. Okay, now very often that's what happens when you send your dog to one of these places. Okay, so if you're going to do it, you ask specifically: do you use a slip lead? Do you use a choke chain? Do you use a prong collar or an electric collar? Okay. Do you use any physical or verbal corrections? And this goes for any trainer that's going anywhere near your dog. See if the answer is not an immediate no, or there's some sort of justification, go elsewhere, okay, because they're not necessary. All right, the video I put up today, which is Friday, so this might be on Saturday I've put this video up, okay, but the one preceding this video is me working. That's short 8 minutes of training through an hour-long session, working with a dog that has these issues, and we see how readily the dog can change their behaviour if we do the right things. We just need to learn how to do it. Okay, so this poor woman and her dog, okay, who have been lied to and misinformed and misled, and then the woman has made what she thinks is an informed choice, but it's not the choice that she would have chosen, because if she knew that that's how they were going to treat her dog in training, she'd never have sent her dog there. And it cost hundreds of pounds to send her dog there. Okay, it's just not right. Okay, and lastly on this, it's not even balanced training. This notion of balanced training, there's nothing balanced about the training that I saw, and this is normal. Okay, this isn't an extreme example. Okay, this is what these trainers or these people do. They put this stuff up and they say that this is what we do. This is completely normal. It's not as if it's, oh, that's the bad apple amongst all these places that use balanced training. I'm telling you, it's not. Okay, because I've seen enough of these videos from people who look at this guy, he doesn't do that, and then when I look at the guy, I'm like, yeah, he does exactly the same thing. It's just a little bit more subtle than what these clowns are doing to these 3 dogs. Okay, so it's not even balanced. Balanced would suggest that sometimes we use positive reinforcement, and sometimes we use a harsher approach. This was just a harsher approach from the get-go. It was just correcting, walking the dog up and down and violently correcting the dogs on the lead. Okay, and the reason why they had to up the aggression towards the dogs to increase the force was because the lower level stuff wasn't working. And when the trainer starts realizing it's not working, they start getting frustrated, their emotions start kicking in, and they start getting angry with the dog, so the violence escalates again. Okay, now I know this, all right, one, because this is how I used to train my dogs. I know how it works. Okay, also, for those of you who don't know, I was 20 years in the police, okay, and I've seen enough violence in my life, okay, through my professional work, that this is what happens when people get under pressure in violent confrontations. It just happens, okay, it happens, and I'm not saying that it's right, it's what happens. And what we have to do is try and dial ourselves back, have our own self-control, or say we have another option there. Okay, it's not balanced training, it's aversive training, it's abusive training. Okay, and yeah, it's just, I think I've done well not to swear. Okay, yeah, okay. And lastly on this, what happens is that because these, and this is how I've seen this, right, these are things that I have been subjected to, experienced, okay, online abuse, okay, because I speak out against it. I've had somebody phoning me up and physically threatening me, right, which I was like, that the guy physically wasn't any threat to me anyway, and I called him a joke. I'm like, what are you going to do, turn up at my door and try and threaten me? Okay, aye, whatever, mate. Okay, so what happens when women people like that woman, okay, so clients like that woman then get their dog back, if they were to leave a negative review for that person or spread that video on social media, which I think they should do, okay, but I get that there's risk involved to it, these people now start phoning them up, threatening them, okay, harassing them, bad mouthing them, making up stories, trying to excuse, and then they effectively, it's gaslighting, okay. Your evidence of what we did, okay, is not reality, okay. And this is what puts people off, because they don't want to rock the boat, they don't want to be harsh to people, they don't want to affect people's livelihood. And what I say is, yeah, affect their livelihood, hit them in the pocket, make them change their methods or put them out of business, okay. Because it's the only way, or one of the few ways, that will actually make any ground in this, okay. So yeah, there's a lot in that, okay, and hopefully I've not been too ranty about it. I know I have been ranty, but hopefully not too much, and I'm aware that it's now 11 minutes into the video, okay, but hopefully this has been useful. Educational pages like this are massively important in changing it. There's tons and tons of excellent dog trainers who put really quality free information on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, okay, and let's support those people. All right. Yeah, okay, so maybe not the nicest message to receive a couple of weeks before Christmas, okay, but it's an important one, and I'll catch you next time.